Alright, let's do this. So, tonight we're going to look at Last V8. Hello to everybody first. Hi Mark, hi Colt, hi Andy, hi Richmond Mike, hi Steps. Welcome to the stream. Actually, before we start, I'm going to do a little plug. So, if you're not already a subscriber, not to me, to Freeze, this month they're doing .cosmos. It's on the front cover. I'm very, very proud of this. We've got two versions, one for the subscriber, one for the non-subscribers. If you don't already subscribe to this, I highly recommend it. It's actually it's a very good complement to this stream because it's all about hacking games and finding pokes. So it's a good magazine if you want to look at other games and how they do that. You can buy that. Let me get you a link. The guy, it's written by one guy, Vinny. He's a really nice guy. And yeah, he's been really helpful to me and been kind enough to do this double issue and feature me on the front. I'm very, very proud of it. So yeah, go ahead and buy a copy. Subscribe to him. He definitely deserves it. What copy will I be working with? So I took, let me just find which version I got. I got this Last V8 by Bod on CSDB. Actually, I'll post a link to that as well. Get this right. This was the only one I could get to actually clean up, so it's this copy here from CSDB. Oh, thank you for the raid, Hayes, and welcome to the stream. I saw actually just before I started the stream, you seem to be playing another version of Last V8 with a motorbike. Is that the Red Max that people were talking about? Thank you for the host, Acmafin. So this is the copy I'll be working with. I've loaded it up into my kind of depack tool and managed to strip out a version that allows me to actually hack things into it. So let me demonstrate now. So I found the entry address here and put it there. It actually has the control. What is the control system in that then? Is that the forward to accelerate, backwards to brake? The last C5, yeah. Welcome to the stream, everybody who's come over from Hazy's stream. If you haven't been on my stream before, we're going to take a game on Thursdays. We take a game and we look at ways that we can improve the game, either through adding hacks, infinite live hacks, things like that. Or in the case of the last stream we did Airwolf, we tried to improve the game and make it playable. And we're going to try and do the same with the Last V8. Try to accelerate, let go to brake left and right. Ah, okay. Interesting. Well, we'll see what we can do with this. I had a quick look at the code. I'm not very fond of it, to be honest. I don't know how much we're going to be able to do, but let's have a look. I've also saved 5 snapshots so I don't kind of lose where I'm at in it here. So let's have a look. Make this fill the window for you guys so you can see everything I'm doing. That should just about do it. A bit much actually. Back a little bit. Yeah, the music's brilliant. I mean, for $2.99, that's about what you're getting is the music. I think that's about the only thing that's worth the money in there. I think they spent £2.98 per copy on the music and 1p on the rest of it. So, solution according to Hayes: copy controls from Red Max. Yeah, that's that's interesting. Yeah. So I did have a look into the controls very briefly, I'll show you what I found. So DC00, if you, again, I've shown this before in the game stream. There's a memory map here. I'll put the link in the chat. Those of you who are used to the stream have probably already got this link. But this memory map has all the kind of locations for various things in memory. And what we're interested in is searching for this joystick port control, joystick port 2 control, and seeing how that works and kind of adjusting that a little bit. So I did a search for that and I got all these addresses. Now the first thing I did notice was this up here. So again, if you've been on my game streams, you'll know we learnt about banking the kernel out, banking basic out. This game doesn't bank the kernel out, so it's not even using the full 64K. It seems to only use, I'd say, up to from 000 to CFFF, and I bet it doesn't use all of that either. So none of these routines above this CFF are going to be doing anything. These are just going to be kernel routines. So that leaves us with these 4 locations. I've only looked at the first one, but the first one itself seemed to be quite interesting, so I'll show you what that is doing. So that's this bit here. I don't know how well you can see that. Yeah, it's okay actually. Let me know if the music is too low or too loud as well, guys, because I can't hear it at all on this at all. So yeah, so it's loading in the value here, and then weirdly what it's doing is it's setting the X and Y registers to 0, and then it's slowly shifting right the values in there. If the value is set, it's skipping over it, because if a bit is set on the joystick, it means it's not being pushed in that direction. Otherwise it's either incrementing or decrementing the Y and X, and then it's storing that in these 2 values. And what I realized was, if I go to those, so it's these 2 values here, and what it is these values record whether I'm pushing up and down in this one or left and right in this one. Oh, sorry, up and down in this one and left and right in this one. So you'll see when I start the game, which has for some reason gone into a weird crash mode, so let me reload that snapshot. Oh, see, I heard the alert, but I didn't actually see anything. What was that? Ah, it's a follow. Thank you for the follow, Svinto. And you'll see where's my joystick? Oh, there we go. Joystick on. As I push in different directions, this value here changes. So this is recording whether or not I'm pushing up and down, left and right. I didn't look any further than that, so I don't know where these are being used. Also, that's moving incredibly slowly. Don't know why that is. Let me reload the debugger just in case. Hi, Dr. Miz. Welcome to the stream. Let's give it another try. I don't know what it is about this latest version of the debugger, but it seems to crash an awful lot on me. I don't know if I've got my settings set wrong in it or something. There we go, that seems to be right. Oops. Oh, in fact, I'm not actually. This is the other thing as well I noticed. It's really hard to tell when you're in the game and you're not, because there's no title screen. Thank you for the follow, Moving Lima. I like that name. It's a cool name. Welcome to the stream. I think I'm in control now. There's also the digitized speech, which you have to wait for every time as well. There we go. Right, so you can see as I accelerate and decelerate, it changes these values in here, and they're flashing red, which means that they're being read from and written to continuously. Actually, it means they're being written to. It doesn't mean they're being read from. So maybe this isn't the right place. Let's have a look where else that's been done and see if we can see anything that kind of jumps out at us. So let's go to. Okay, so this is loading. So let's put a breakpoint in there. We need to make sure that these are being hit, and oh god, the controls are absolutely awful in this game. Yeah. And then every time you die, that's it. You have to wait for everything to load up again and play the speech again. Yep, there we go. Ah, cool. That's really good. I'd like to do some stuff on the NES Moon Lima, but I'm kind of tied up with lots of projects on the 64, and to be honest, I keep coming up with more and more ideas, so it's probably going to be a while before I do anything other than C64, which I'm sure makes a few people happy. Okay, let's stick some breakpoints in all these places and see if we can get them break, because the only one that seems to be doing something so far is our first one. That doesn't seem to be doing anything at all in there. You know, I'm not getting any. No, I'm not getting anything here. Why did I blow up then? Oh, I ran out of time. Because when you run out of time, you blow up. Of course, that makes perfect sense. So how was Red Max then? Was it a decent game, or? Yeah, I think I'll be around on the C64 for quite a while. I've got 3 projects on the go now. Thank you for the follow, Mainstream Retro. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so none of these other 3 addresses after here seem to be doing anything. I'm just going to go and confirm that this value up here, this 1, this processor port here, is actually correct, and that we are not using kernel. And the easiest way to check if you're using kernel is if you jump to the last page, so FF00, and scroll down, you'll see a load of jumps if you're in kernel. Yeah, there we go. So these are kernel routine vectors. That's how you know you've got kernel banked-in. If these are all jumps, then yeah, you definitely have. Okay, which is fine. It just means we're going to have to work out what's going on with this first one. So the more open you have to run around collecting mines like Action Marker, but lots of fences and fuel pickups added, but it's just as frustrating. It did look like it was a straight port, to be honest, like a reskin of this game. So I imagine that they decided it was probably easier to just kind of take the code, fix it a little bit, and reskin it and sell it. Because I mean, the game must have sold well for them to want to do that. So let's jump back to there. And I guess, I mean, graphically and musically, the game's brilliant for its time. I mean, this here, actually, that's something we've not looked at yet. Let's have a quick look to see how this screen is laid out. So if I remember what I really should write these down, and then I'm not doing this every time. There we go. Okay, so in the top scrolling area we have multicolor text. So this is just standard text, which actually makes sense because if you look, you can kind of see the tiles. It looks like 2x2 tiles are being used. Let me just pause that. It looks like 2x2 tiles are being used. You can see here you've got a tree. This is made up of 2, but yeah, I think it's just using 2x2 tiles. I think what would be interesting in future streams as well is doing a stream where we find the map data for a game, and see if we can find a way to replace the maps, so make new levels using Charpad. I'm pretty sure if we loaded this into Charpad, we could find this map somewhere. And the characters that make it up, so it would be cool to kind of add extra levels, or replace existing levels as well. And the bottom half is a multicolour bitmap with sprites on it by the looks of things. Yeah, so there's a sprite here. Well, it kind of makes sense, I guess. There's a sprite for each of these. Actually, is there? Yeah. So the little needles that go on these gauges are all sprites. This indication of how far away from the base is a sprite. And these needles are stretch sprite by the looks of things. And then you've got a single sprite up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're not even using a sprite multiplexer in here. Which, considering they needed 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 lines only scrolling. In fact, you will only see 9 of those because one of them is covered. So it's actually 9 lines of scrolling. Even though 10 is actually being scrolled, there's only 9 visible. Okay, so let's... thank you for the follow, Stoker. Stoker C64. Good name, I like it. Okay, so let's have a look back on here. Remember which button to press. Start the game. Oh, helps if I'm actually on the right window. There we go. So this is the location that seems to be doing our joystick routine. I'm pretty sure if we put a breakpoint in here, it's going to keep breaking on there. Yeah, it is. Interestingly, even on the demo, it's breaking. Even though we're not seeing the controls here on the demo. I don't know how they recorded this demo, but whoever it is that's playing it seems to have very, very good skills at this game. They don't seem to be put off by the controls at all. Okay, so we know that the value is being stored in here. We know what do we know? We know the sprites. We know the value of the joystick is being stored in these two values. We know that the sprite rotates, so the sprite has to change, and we can check that by going into. One of these days, I'm just going to remember these off by heart. Oh, interestingly, they must be using a multiplexer because the car is made up of 3 different sprites. Not sure why. I'm pretty sure that didn't need to be 3 different sprites, but. And the sprite data is the sprite data. So if we look at this here, this bottom number, we'll see where in memory that sprite is. It could be that they're rotating it in code. I'd be very surprised if they are. Or you can look at these pointers here as well. I want to see when it rotates. Do these values, do the pointers stay the same? Is it going to rotate? No, they change. Okay, so it is a different set of sprites for each one. Yes, we're going to hack Last V8 Master Blaster. We're going to try and fix these controls. We're just trying to work out now what's actually going on. Where are these controls being stored? How are they being translated into rotating? I mean, it looks... What I'm worried about with this is that because... maybe Hayes can clear up this a little bit. Because the controls seem to be... It turns to the direction that you're controlling in. I'm a bit worried that there's only actually 8 directions you can move in. That the car can stop in, and that if we try and stop it in an angle that's in like like northeast or whatever, that it's not going to work properly. That it's going to kind of it's going to not move quite correctly across the screen. So I'm not sure how it works. So we'll take a look anyway. So. Are you trying to edit the sensitivity of the controls? No, we're trying to actually fix the controls completely. Thank you for the follow. Fancy Fun Post Limited's trademark. I like that name as well. The car can move in more than 8 directions. Oh yeah, I can see there actually. So actually just being able to rotate the car how we want would help us a lot. So maybe, first of all, let's see if these values are being used anywhere. Because these values are what's being translated from the joystick. So let's do a search in memory for those. We only have to search up to here now. For 4003. Okay, so well, that's yeah. So that's this one. So let's go to 14FF. That doesn't seem to be anything. Yeah, this is just some random data of some kind. Let's go to 88CF. Again, random data. This is what worried me actually looking through the code. There seems to be a lot of data and not a lot of code. I don't know why that is. So the fact that this is all kind of grey would imply that it's not being executed recently, which would also imply that the code is incorrect. Plus, this if you ever see a star in the debugger, it means it's what's known as an illegal opcode. I think I touched on them slightly in a past stream, but yeah, this is if I see things like, if I see lots of stars down the side, I assume that this is not code that's being run. This is probably just data. We've got some interesting tickers here. I'm not sure what these are, but there's something counting up continuously here. But we don't need to worry about those yet. So let's have a look. Where else? 89E2. Can scroll down to that. Again, this just looks like data. See lots of stars. It's the same repeating pattern. So it's probably not that. 89F0. 89F0. Yeah, that's not it either. So I don't think it's any of these. So let's jump to the CC one. CC3C. Again, code that's not being run. So whatever it is, it's got to be in this location. Actually, no, that means it's not being used at all. That's really weird. Why is that not being used? This is what I mean about this code. It makes no sense at all. No sense at all. Thank you for the follow. Oh, I can't say that name. Kajarhus. And Warbird Games. I missed that one. Thank you, Hayes. I keep missing them. I'm too busy concentrating on the code. Kajarhus. Where's that from? That's an interesting sounding name. I can never say these kind of... It sounds kind of Scandinavian or something. This is really odd. So these joystick values are being written into this location here, and they never seem to be being read, which is really unusual. Denmark. Okay. Yeah, okay, so let's skip over that a little bit. Let's see if we can find where this is being changed. So we know that the sprite is being rotated. So if I bring up again, I go through every single screen before I find it. I need to just remember what this is. Control Shift F5. Right, I'm going to try and remember that. Control Shift F5. Right. So we know that the screen here is at 0400. So it's the standard location for the screen. So that means the sprite pointers are at 07F8, 07F8, 07F9, and 07F8. So let's have a search through the code for those values. I can just search to there. Okay, so that's in a few places. Yeah, but also none of the code seems to do anything with those values. So I'm not sure. It could be that they're reading it indirectly somehow. In fact, let's have a quick look through 0 page, see if we can see 0340 or something close to that. I'm not seeing. So if we look for 03. Oh, there we go. What's that? 033C. So it could be an indirect read of this. So let's have a quick look, see if we can see an indirect read. So if you know 6502, you'll know that there's an indirect 0-page addressing mode. And we're going to have a look for that instruction, which is a load instruction, indirect 0-page B1. Okay, so we're looking for B1, B2. That's kind of easy. Okay, so is that correct? I feel like that's not right. I'm pretty sure that would have brought something up. B1, so B2. Yeah, that should be right. Yeah, this would be a good candidate for machine learning, wouldn't it? Okay, so it's not even that. It's really weird. Although sometimes I do not trust this disassembler as well. So let's have a look at these values. So these values are where the sprite things are set. Okay, so 158F is here. Okay, so store Y here, increase Y. So it looks like the sprites are stored in consecutive values. So let's start the game and look at these pointers here. So they are indeed. So you see these pointer values here, C8, C9, C8. So they go up consecutively, and we can see that. Oh god, I've gone past it now. Let me jump back to that 158E. Oh, do that in here. 158E. So you can see that here. It's loading some kind of value in, and then it's storing it. It's storing it in the first sprite pointer. Then it's increasing the value. So it's creating the 3 sprites here, and it's doing it from here. 0365. This could be our rotational vector. So let's have a look at 0365, which is this one here. It doesn't seem to be doing very much. It's on 1.8. 1.8. Again though, these could be temporary variables as well, so it could be quickly pause. 036510. I mean, it could be that. Let's have a look in one. Hang on, where do I was 159A. Okay, let's have a look at 159A. Okay, yeah, so these are our rotations. So you notice how these numbers go up 3 at a time, and they keep going up 3 at a time until here. So there appears to be 3, 6, 8, 24, 32 different positions, which kind of makes sense. You would expect it to be multiples of 8. This would be a great game for your play from chat program. Oh god, can you imagine? I mean, yeah. I'm still working on that. I've still got my Raspberry Pi over there that I'm trying to get working with that. I think I might end up needing 2 Raspberry Pis, one to do the streaming and one to actually host the server. They're not the fastest things in the world. So, if we can work out where this X value is changed, maybe we can trace that back, and maybe we can find out where that angle is being set, and instead of it being set by kind of where you should be facing, we can tie it into the joystick control. So let's give that a try. Okay, we've got a few places where that is. I'm suspecting these are just again, just data in memory. Oh no, actually, we're in that area now. And these actually do look like code. So here we go, we've got an increment here. 0365. We seem to have a lot of values in this area, in this 0360 area, that seem to be doing lots of things. I'm going to write some of this down. So 0365 seems to be our rotational vector, so our rotation angle. Get my little pad out. I should probably do this in Notepad or something on screen. I'll set that up for next time. So I wonder if we just change that value in here to 0, 0 and then restart, will we switch direction? No, we'll crash. Okay. At least you're not Jedward. What's that about? Doesn't have your inputs to zero. Yeah. Oh god, yeah. Thanks to you for reminding me of that. They'd kind of escaped the consciousness of the British people, and now you've brought them back, so thank you for that. Okay, right, so we're moving now. I'm going to pause it. The value is 18. I'm going to change it to 0, 0 and just see what happens when I restart. Okay, nothing. It's gone back to this value. So something is setting that value somewhere. So let's go and have a look at the other locations that are doing that. There was 1589, which is this one here. So this is loading the value from there. Oh, that's the one that's setting our sprite. So let's go and have a look at the other one. I knew this was going to be a painful game. I could tell as soon as I looked at the code. I thought, yep, this is not going to be fun. Okay, load X from FF. So it's loading some value from 1465. And I've gone to the wrong place. Let me go back to where it was. 1460. Oh, so 1465 is here. And this seems to be 10, 8, 18 or 0. Ah, this looks like these are our directions. Yeah, this is our directions. We've got 4 directions here. My guess is that this defines our angles. So I'm going to try changing these just to test a theory out. I'm going to try adding 4 to each one of these. Just to see what happens. Okay, so yes, that is changing the car angle. So 1465 defines our north, south, east and west sprite indexes. So let's put those back. Pause the game again. It takes so long to get back into the game, it's probably not worth keeping it going. 100818. Yeah, drifting. Yeah, let's add drifting. Why not? Yeah, that's a good point. You're Swedish. How do you know about Jedward? I mean, I'm English and I wish I didn't know about them, so I feel sorry for you that you do know about them. I apologise. I apologise on behalf of Ireland and everybody who's inflicted those on the rest of the world. Okay, so this seems to be loading that value in, storing in here. So again, we've got a value in FF, which seems to be another 0 page address. 09. Okay, so let's start again and see what happens if I see. It's so unfair. I don't know what that is, but obviously you can't crash into it. Oh, you get 8 out of 10 cats. Yeah, you will have seen them on that. I do remember them being on that. 8 out of 10 Cats is a very funny show. I do like Jimmy Carr. He makes me laugh. The guy is not right in the head, but that just makes him hilarious. So I think these are temporary values, judging by how often they change and the fact that their values are very erratic. I think these are temporary values. So I'm going to assume that this piece of code here, from here, is doing something with those. This is loading 0350, so let's have a look at that. This is one hell of a piece of debugging, this. Okay, that doesn't seem to change any... Oh! I don't know if you can see that, but in 035, where is it? These two values here, 0 and 1, they seem to change as I change direction, so let's have a look at that again. Oh god, waiting for this is painful. So, going backwards and forwards, no, but if I start rotating, they do seem to change. And it seems to be the speed that I'm moving in, up and down, possibly left and right. I'm not seeing an equivalent value for left and right. Oh, actually, yes, I am. So these values here are how fast you're moving in each direction. So let's write that down. We're getting somewhere. We're decoding what the values are. North, south, east, west, speed. I don't know what order they're in, but let's have a look. So I'm stationary, and this is 2, so already that feels weird. Because I've not actually started yet. So 0351 is our speed to... Okay, let's write these in order. So they are actually, that is our west speed, which makes the first one east. So if I go east, yep, and then north, so it's south north. So the order is east, west, south, north. Whoops. Okay, so we're kind of getting somewhere. Now, what is this actually doing? So this is taking the value that is east, taking our east value. If it's 0, skip over this bit and take our north value. What? Most bizarre piece of code ever, this. It really is. Watch Jedward on YouTube. Yeah, hopefully not deliberate, yeah. But unfortunately there will be people out there that do go searching for Jedward, unfortunately. See, this is a weird piece of code. This doesn't seem to actually be doing anything. There seems to be a lot of dead code in this program. It's almost like when they were writing this, they weren't really sure what they were doing, and they did the equivalent of kind of writing functions and then never calling them. It seems to be quite common throughout this code, but at least we're finding something that definitely is being used here. So this is taking a value, making it at least 1. No. Yeah, making it at least 1. Why would it do that? I'm making it at least 2 if I'm going north. Okay. Yeah, I'm not convinced about this block of code, so I'm gonna go and check. I mean, we found some stuff out from it, but I'm gonna go and check this other block here, OE8E. This just seems to be resetting things. This looks like an entry point. You can see it's set in the background color. Multicolor mode, a few other things as well. Yeah, it's just resetting things, isn't it? Okay, maybe it is that block of code, so Jed were mostly programming Z80. I wish they just never existed. How did they become? Weren't they one of the Pop Idol or X Factor people? That's where those type usually come from. Oh yeah, X Factor Hayes did say actually. Teach me not to read the chat. So 365 is our rotation. We know that. X is coming from. Oh, okay. So this is taking our angle based on our north and our north, south, and west values, and working out what rotation we need to apply. So maybe what we need to be doing is looking at what is changing these values. So let's see if we can figure out what's changing our east value. And there's quite a lot of code, so let's go through it from the beginning. I'm guessing it's just these ones up to about here. I don't think this one is. I think this is where the map data is. Okay, so we've got a huge block of this is initialization. You see all these stores, they're all being stored with 0, so I don't think it's in this lot. This is what's just resetting our values, and it's all over the show. These are really odd bits of code. You've got weird 0-page instructions in the middle of all that as well. 1228, let's have a look at that. Yes, so you can use watches. So if you press Control B, you can add memory watches in here, raster watches, and well, all of these watches. You can even watch stuff on the 1541 drive. So if you're creating a fast loader and you want to understand what the 1541 drive is doing at the same time as the Commodore 64, you can use this side to actually debug the 1541, which is, I think, is amazing. That's not something I've ever seen before. I certainly don't know how. You might be able to do it in Vice, but I don't know how to do it in Vice. Yeah, I just think there's a lot of code. They've obviously, when they've written this, they've obviously done things a few times, or he's done things a few times before he's settled on a solution. Okay, so this is a piece of code that seems to be checking each of our directions. So let's go through this from the beginning. Looks like it starts here, because there's an RTS above it, so I don't think it's that. So this is loading our west value. If we're not traveling west, it goes to here. If we are traveling west, then for some reason it loads the value again into X. See, that's a waste of 3 bytes there. They're loading the value into the accumulator, and then they're loading it again into X when they could have just done a transfer accumulator to X, but yeah, whatever. Decrease X, store X. So this is saying if we're moving west, then stop moving west, decrease the speed that we're moving west. Let's put a breakpoint in there and see where the hell that's being triggered. You know, there's enough room in the bottom of this screen to run most other kind of scrolling platform games. That would be a challenge, wouldn't it? Okay, so let's try and run. So it's doing nothing when I go that way. The moment I go west, has that actually broke on there? It seems like it. Has that actually broke on? What? What? keeps breaking in weird locations on here. It doesn't seem to be breaking in the location I'm telling it to. Let's take the breakpoint off. Yeah, if you pause, it's best to pause when you do that. You can just type the program counter that you want to jump to in there. It quite often crashes when you do that in most things, but you can do it if you want to. So, annoyingly, if let's get off that. Whoa! Right, load up the. This is why I load snapshots. Although it has crashed on me. So let me close the debugger. I'm not having a great time with the debugger at the moment. I'm hoping they bring another version out soon. To be honest, I might actually go back to the last version because this one has not been a good experience for me. Okay, so we were looking at 1, 2. What was it? 1, 2. Was it this one? Yeah, it was this one here. Yeah. So I don't know why that's breaking there because I'm not even in the game and it's trying to slow down my. Let's put it in there. Okay. Oh my god. The code in this game is unbelievable. I mean, to be fair, they were 16 when they wrote this, so you know, we've got to let them off a little bit. But they're just making my life difficult. Okay, right, here we go. So I've got a breakpoint in, so when we're traveling to the west, it should break, which it has done. So automatically it's trying to reduce the speed that you're going left all the time. I don't know why that's doing that. We will come to that again in a minute. And then immediately exiting. If you're not traveling west, it checks to see if you're traveling backwards east, and if you are, increments so that you're going forwards east. Jesus. Okay. And then it's doing another check. If you're going, oh, so it's doing the same check that it was doing up here with west, but now it's doing it on east. And then it's storing a value 034B. Oh wow. 034B. Let's have a look what's in that location. Okay, that's this weird file. Did I write down what that was? No. Okay, so we hadn't figured out what that was yet, but it seems to be related to our left and right movements. So let's start streaming and then start the game again. See what happens. That seems to be our speed, actually. Yeah, that seems to be our speed. So I wish I had some kind of ability to play this and keep an eye on that at the same time, but I don't. So I'm gonna try and play at slow speed and just turn a little bit. I can't turn anywhere here though, can I? Because everything's gonna make me crash. So let's try a little bit. Yeah, it's not. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. So this seems to be speed. 034B is speed. Okay. Okay, so again, this is And then there's these routines here. So 103A, let me write these routines down. I can check these out. 103A, 10F4. All we need to do is figure out what is making us turn left and right and remove whatever it is that's making us turn left and right and stick it onto joystick left and right. And likewise, we need to figure out what's making us accelerate and decelerate and remove that as well. And this seems to be something to do with the acceleration and deceleration. It would be nice if we could find out what's actually increasing these values. 0351. Let's have a look if there's any more places where they've been used. 5003. So we're looking. So this was a reset. This is actually 1234, 1239. Yeah, that's what we've just looked through. We'll have a look what those routines do shortly. You can turn on infinite time and collisions off in the crack trainer, I believe. Ah, yeah, actually, because this is... I've already got a clean version here, so I don't need to be using the clean version here. So let me turn on... Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. CPU jam, way. Okay, let's do that in a different way. So if you've not used this tool before, this is... oh, I have already extracted it, apparently. Have I? Oh, okay. It's because it is a PRG already. This is a DIR master that lets you extract PRGs from D64 files. It's useful for the debugger because it allows you to skip kind of the disk loading section. So. Do you fancy unlimited time? I do indeed. What about never-ending fuel? Yes. Unlimited shields? Yes. That didn't give me a collision though, did it? Well, I suppose that's better than nothing. I could load a different version of the game up. Doesn't really matter at this point. So I'm assuming I'm still going to crash. That's actually the furthest I've got. I actually half turned the corner there. Okay. Yep, so that didn't help that much, but it's fine. I can keep looking through this block of code first. So again, this area here, it's loading the values of up, down, left and right, and if any of them are non-zero, it comes to here and it stores that value at FF, which is our temporary. We know these are the temporary locations. And it loads if we're moving east. If we're not moving east, it comes to here. If we are moving east... Oh, this is just that block of code again, isn't it? This is what's turning our... 350. Start F, this is equal to 144F. Otherwise... So it's either getting whether we're moving east or we're moving north. So it's working out whether we're moving horizontally or vertically, and then using that to work out what's going on. So it's not that area. Let's have a look at the higher bit, which was here. So this is loading our south, adding the north to it. What? So this is what I mean about this code. This just makes no sense whatsoever. How can you be travelling both south and north at the same time? Through 5C. Alright, let's check out what these two values do here, because these two values seem to be being used for something. I've got to say, this game is stressing me out. I am going to have to go for a cigarette very, very shortly. But I refuse to give in. Refuse to give up. Okay, right, so we're looking at these two values here to see what these represent. The left one seems to be speed. Oh god, I'm trying to brake and I'm just crashing. If you're travelling south and the north is slowing you down. Yeah, I guess that makes sense actually, doesn't it? So this is our kind of braking values. I wonder if switching these round... I wonder if this... because if this is duplicated with different pairs, so if there's a duplication of the same code but with 50 and 51 instead of 52 and 53, in fact there is there, maybe if we replace this completely with just north and south, we would get our... wait, hang on, north, south, 5C, 5D. So I'm interested in what this one is doing. This one seems to be speed, definitely. In fact, we can see this with the demo, so let's just leave the demo running. But that one doesn't seem to do anything. Yeah, I'm gonna go on my balcony and have a smoke now. Alright guys, I'm gonna take 5 minutes while I think about this a little bit, and I'll be back really soon. Probably less than 5 minutes actually, so be right back guys. Okay, something Acmafin has just said has just made me think actually. For this demo to run, it's got to be reading data from somewhere to control this car. And I notice, if you look in the memory map down here, you can see these two blue lines. Where blue means it's being read. This data seems to be control data of some kind that's being cycled through. Or it's the map actually. Thinking about it, it could be the map. Let's see it run again. Let me just load the snapshot up again. Because as he's moving one way, it's kind of, as it goes down, it's yeah, this is map data. Okay, that screws that idea up then. I was hoping I could find where the data was being read for the controls. This game deserves a total remake. This game would be awesome if it had the Slicks controls in, I think. Slicks is a brilliant game, and I would suspect that they probably reused a bit of code for Slicks, although not a lot, but you know, they will have used some at least. I wonder what this area is. This is just reading. Oh, it is kind of reading along here. You see, it is going along, kind of tapping something or other. These could be. Let's find the beginning of that. Okay, so let me restart again. So see where that's actually starting to read. So it's starting to read here. But this would imply up and down, and that's not up and down. I'm going to see if I can find that location. 007F it seems to be. Oh wow, it's all over the place. Let's look for an indexed version of that. I refuse to give up on this game, by the way guys. If I can't fix this on stream, I am going to have another go at this off stream. Or maybe even do a second stream on it, depending on... I'll have another go off stream, and if I get a little bit further then I may redo what the work I've done on the next stream. So let's check for BD, B9 in those locations. I've got really itchy nose. PD007F. Okay, there's a few locations doing that. So let's kind of have a look at that. 73A. Okay, so that would imply that this is 039E could be our demo counter. Oops. Oh, that doesn't seem to be doing anything. So let's just have a look through here, see if any of these are actually just increasing continuously. 6, 7, 8, 9. This one seems to be moving whenever the car changes direction. Increment 039E. Take the values in there, store them in there. Yeah, this might be a dead end. I just wanted to check this area because actually this one, okay, so look at this one as potentially a joystick direction. No, it's not. Okay, so 39D increase Y. This definitely seems to be doing something, because again it's doing this weird kind of decrease the X, increase the X, decrease the Y, increase the increase. So let's see if this routine 7E5B is anywhere. On 1AC, and that'll be that. Nope. Store Y in 0354, which is this one here. Could this be the direction that the joystick's being tapped? Yes, it is. So in the demo, these two show which direction the joystick's being tapped in. Okay, so 0354, 0355 probably is. So let's restart that again, just make sure that the up and down. So just keep our eye on this one here, make sure this is changing. Annoyingly, it doesn't seem to be changing, it's only doing the left and right here. Don't see it being changed anywhere else, but there's definitely up and down going on. Okay, 0354. 1264, and this takes us back to this routine again, which is taking these values. So let's see if there's anything else looking at 0354. Maybe that's what we should be looking for. Oops. No, only those two locations. 11AF, which is this one. We know this is our demo routine. I'm pretty sure if I put a breakpoint on that location, it will always hit in the demo, but if I start the game, if it doesn't start on that game, we know that's a demo routine. So let's get into the game. How's the game starting? Yep. Yeah, so that routine's not hitting. So this is our demo routine. So let's write that down. 7E5B. and these values seem to be our counters into the demo. So this area here is kind of our demo counter. So where was that? 11 AC. Let's go back to that. 11 AC. 11 AC. This is not an easy one at all. 1 percent 1 2 3 3. We've got a jump to 11C1, which is skipping over this bit for some reason. 1 2 6 4. Then exits. Whatever it is that's doing it, it seems to be around this code somewhere. So again, that looks like demo code. Yeah, we found the demo, so we can put our own thing in place of the demo. But that's not what we want. We want a bit more than that. I was just thinking while I was having a cigarette actually that a tequila would probably make things a lot worse right now. Oh, we are hitting this block of code here. So we're definitely doing something still in this area, because we've stopped on here. So that implies that something around here is still being called. So let's see if I can find the entry point, which looks like this one here. Take that breakpoint off. Okay, we're definitely still hitting something here. So 034E is this one here. Okay, so what might that be? It's decreasing, whatever it is. It's going up and down, it's decreasing. Okay. Let's pause, let's have a look at that again. So this is decreasing the value. If it hits 0, it comes to here and sets it back to 5 and then jumps to this routine. Otherwise it skips all of this. So maybe this is only doing some updates once every 5 frames. I'm going to write this address down so I can come back here. So 1195, and then I'm going to go and have a look at OEF3. Oh, and here we have joystick control. And we have joystick control, and it's storing them in X and Y. I think we may have hit the mother load here. 1195. So at this point, X and Y is now our joystick directions. What would the carry set be? Let's just go back to there a second. On F3. Carry would be set if. How do you carry set over? If nothing has happened. So if no buttons have been pressed, then the carry will be set. Okay, so 119. What was it? 1195. So if no buttons have been pressed, it skips this next section. This section here, between here. Oh, really? 03A0. If 03A0 isn't 0, it loads one load accumulator. Compare 1, parentheses not equal 11A. Oh, but this is jumping to the demo. This can't possibly. Oh, 03A0 is are we in demo mode? So that's this here. I think that means demo mode. So let me check quickly if when we restart this, 03A0 is probably going to be 1. Yeah. And as soon as we start the game, that should go to 0. So let's get rid of that. Why is that breaking? I've got a breakpoint somewhere. Yeah, I don't want that. So if I start the game, this should go to 0. So 03A0 is the flag that tells us that we're in in game. And look how long it takes to set. This is... There we go. Right, I'm in game. And sure enough, it's at 0. So this is checking, are we in demo? If we're not in demo, then we need to come to this location, which is then going to store our Y, which we got from here, in 0354, which is our... No, it's not on north, south, east and west, but it's right next to those values. So if I start moving up, these values will change. Briefly. So very brief. You can see it's actually affecting the direction I'm moving. Okay. And then it takes our X movement and transfers it to the accumulator. If we're not moving left and right, it jumps to 11C1, which is here. If we are moving left and right, it does this. It compares it to 1. So it's... This is if we're moving... So this is left and right. So okay, so this would be moving right. So if we're moving right, then do this. Otherwise, okay, we've got some routines now. So 1, 2, 3, 3 seems to be right, and 1, 2, 1A seems to be left. And that's moving left and right. That's got nothing to do with... in fact, let me put that in there. So if I move right, I should see that. No matter what direction I'm moving in, I should see that happen. So if I want to move ever so slowly, then move down, and then move that way, and it's... See, it just makes no sense. Did Thrust have 32 rotation directs or 16? I think sprite-wise, it probably had about 32, but in terms of actual velocity in different directions, it had quite a lot because you had fractional values in both X and Y. So yeah, you could have quite a lot. So I'm confused as to what's going on here. This should be if I'm pulling right, I believe. It seems to be triggering if I pull left. Does it happen every time though? If I just pull in this direction, yes, it does actually. Although it thinks I'm still pulling in that direction, which could be a bug in the debugger actually. Oh, it's in demo mode. That's why. Damn it. Demo mode gets me every time. Okay, so if I pull left, I see this get triggered. Let's go and have a look what that does. That's this bit here. So this is saying if we're moving in the left direction, this is so the bit of code we looked at before, which was actually increasing and decreasing things. This seems to be what's responsible for braking if we're pushing in that direction. So what we could do with doing here is checking what happens if we're not increase. Yeah. So if we're not pulling in that direction, we need to convert it into rotation instead. So can we... Oh yeah, that's a good point actually. Let's very quickly do that. I've written those addresses down. So I wrote where the 7E5B, so I'll show you how to do this. So this is the routine that gets called when we're in demo mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redirect this instead. So let's find out where that was being called again. I did have this already somewhere, which which is there. So if I jump to that location, so it's this, no, 11AB, sorry, I keep forgetting I need to do that. So it's this location here. So I'm going to overwrite this, and I'm going to write this code somewhere else. So we can do that with our, actually I'm going to do it directly in here, I think, and then save a snapshot. 11AC, so it's this, we need to change that location. We need to find somewhere that's free, so we're looking for somewhere with loads of zeros. In fact, I kind of know where there is a blank area anyway. So this area here. Yeah, anywhere around here. So I'll do it at a nice location, nice and simple. To 0900, and then I'm just going to do increase the border. And then jump to, was it 7E 5B? Yeah. And then if I go to that go to 11AB and change this to be, oh damn it, 11AB, and change that line to be 0900. There we go. Right. And now just let it crash. Turn that breakpoint off. So hopefully now we should see the border flash whenever it's in the demo mode. If it ever gets to the demo mode. Does it just stay in this mode until I press fire? Am I now in the game again? Yeah, it's me controlling again. So it's because I took my snapshot when I was in demo mode, and what I should have done was taken my snapshot here instead. So I'm going to take a snapshot here, just so I've got loads. I wonder what system this was written on first, because I guess that would dictate kind of how many lines were being scrolled. Because this is a very small amount of lines, to be honest. This isn't a lot. Thank you for the follow, Quake SBK. Welcome to the stream. We're trying desperately to. Well, I'm trying desperately. Everyone else is probably laughing at me right now. I did something to fix the controls in last V8 for Commodore 64. There we go. Okay, so I know I'm in demo mode now. Cool. And I've stopped demo mode. Alright. It's quite confusing, the code at the moment. I mean, we've found a location where some stuff is happening, which is this bit, which is reading the joystick. Unfortunately, what it seems to be doing after that is kind of crazy. And it doesn't seem to matter. So the joystick is only ever reading its directionals properly. So X and Y, the X and Y register are definitely being set to X and Y. According to the joystick direction, not what we're seeing on screen. And then this function here seems to be, so I'm going to put this breakpoint back in. So this function here seems to be being called whenever I pull left, not right. I did write right, but it seems to be left. Yeah. And so what I want to do is make sure that this routine only rotates. And at the moment this seems to be taking our speed in the east direction, which is not even the way we're going really, is it? So Oh, it's saying if we're already not moving east, then decrease. So yeah, so if I pull left, and this is a braking function, so this is braking, but only in the east direction. So I'm going to change that in here to left and that to right. So maybe we can overwrite this block of code again to perform the same functions, but I'm not sure how that's going to work. If you're moving, what happens actually if we're moving in? These are our speeds in the various directions, and this is the problem actually. All it's recording is the speed in north, south, east and west. So if I push north now, what's going to happen is it's going to increase the north value, which is the last one here, but it's going to decrease this one, and I think it's that's going to determine whether we're turning or not. Yeah, this is very, very confusing. Very confusing. Did we have a vertical speed? Yeah, we did have a vertical speed, so we could probably turn this into a lookup table to work this out. Let's see what happens. So if I'm moving this way, I'm moving at speed 3 and I push down, I'm still moving in 3 in that direction as well. It's not even that accurate. You're better off moving diagonally. You will gain a lot more speed if you move diagonally. Text adventure dissect next, yeah. See, a top-down racer should be alright, but the way this has been done is quite confusing. It's certainly not the way I think most people would do it, but I mean, I don't know. I've never made a top-down racer in assembly, so... but usually you would store an angle and a speed and then use that to work out where you're going, but they've obviously... Where's that breakpoint? I've got a breakpoint somewhere. There we go. They've obviously taken a different route, and it could be for speed's sake, that they've tried to save a bit of processing time rather than calculate these things, but I'm not entirely sure. So let's pause again. Right, so this is my braking function. If I'm not moving in the east direction, then it jumps to here and checks if I'm moving in the west direction. And as long as I'm not on FF, which would mean a negative speed in the west direction, in which case it will skip, it will increment the value. Yeah, this is going to be really tricky to change. So changing these values here should change the direction that we're facing, I think. So if I change that, I'm now moving west and south, which is indeed changing that. So what we could do is we could bypass this function completely, and we could get it to take this speed, which was 034B. If I change that to 08, I mean, I'm going to crash into something, so let me change that to 00. So if I change our speed to 08 and then start, do I speed up? No. Okay, it goes back down again. What about if I take that and change it to 08? 08, not OB. Let's try restarting again. Is that faster? I'm not sure that's faster. Yes, okay. So the speed is automatically calculated based on these values. So how does it know what the maximum value is? If we can find out where the current speed is set, we can probably do this quite easily. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Richmond Mike. If we if we just, where that joystick routine happens, which is, where was it again? 1195, wasn't it? Yeah, here. So this routine happens, and then it jumps into this block of code here, and this block of code goes through this whole section of, I'm guessing this is left, right, up, down, and then returns here. So if I just put a return in here for now, on 1198, I'm guessing what it's going to do is it's just going to, all joystick control is going to go at this point. So no matter what I do, it's not going to succeed. I should be able to start the game, but nothing else. Am I actually in the game? Yeah, there we go, I'm in the game. Alright, I've got no control now at all. Cool, so I think if we change the value in 1198 to point to a new routine, so we just jump here and then return. So I'm trying the controls out now, and nothing I'm doing is having an effect, which already makes the game easier, to be fair. But what we can do now, so this is where we get to have a bit of fun. So I set this up earlier so we can create a piece of code and we can test it out. So what I can do is, first of all, I can replace that function. So if I do a jump to new joystick code, and then I'm going to set this up at our location here, which we verified was blank. You can see, actually there is a few little bits here, so let's maybe not put it in there. Let's put it at 0820, that gives us 500 bytes or so. And let's make a label there. Okay, so what we need to do, let's put some notes in here. I just have to change the sprite to a Sinclair C5. If somebody wants to spend the next, hour or so drawing a new sprite made out of 3 pieces in 32 rotations, please feel free. If you want a starting point, just load up the last V8 into SpritePad. Snapshot of the last V8 into SpritePad. I'll gladly drop it in. I'm not going to do it myself right now. So we've got 0350 to 0353, which is east, west, south, and north. Okay. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to, at this point as well, X equals horizontal joystick, Y equals vertical joystick. I'm going to just check for some other areas that might be blank. One thing we can do, assuming that the kernel's not being used, we could blank out the kernel and we've got all that room up there that we could use. I mean, there's a sprite there, you can see that straight away. Yeah, this looks like, and there's also the demo area as well. We could get the demo to just not do anything and use all the demo area for code. But that's kind of breaking existing functionality, which I'd rather not do. But it looks like the kernel is free, so if we do need more room, we can go and inject some code up there as well. But let's see what we can get down here. So we're going to need what we're going to need. We're going to need a rotation. We know we've got 32 bytes of rotation, 32 angles of rotation. We'll treat 0, 0 as default. 0, 0 equals pointing, what is that, east? Yeah. No, that's west, isn't it? We default pointing west, don't we? When we start, we're pointing west. Yep. and we need a speed as well. What is the top speed in this game? I guess it's on this. Oh, it's not a number, is it? Okay, well we know where the speed is, so let's go and have a look what that actually goes up to. So 03 4B, that's this value here. So I'm going to accelerate and see how high that oh, I can't accelerate because I've just blanked out the code, haven't I? That's alright, I can restart the snapshot. So because I know where things are now. Let's see if sprite pad or char pad. Yeah, sprite pad. So if somebody wants to take a snapshot of the game in Vice, load it into snapshot. Load the snapshot into sprite pad. You should be able to select between 4 banks. You'll see the bank that actually has the sprites in it, and you can go in there and just edit them as you want. If you give me some before the end of the stream in what, an hour or so, I'll an hour and a half, I'll drop it in gladly. Okay, let's. Oh my god, seriously, this game. I did have the joystick on. Right, there we go. Right, so I'm looking for maximum speed now, so. Well, I got to 33 and then crashed, so I'm not sure if that is the maximum speed or not, because it seemed like I could go a bit faster. I'm going to actually have to try and take a corner. So if anybody can watch that speed and let me know what it goes up to. Oh, this is too hard. Let's say this top speed is 33. That's what we've seen it go up to. So it also starts at 2. So okay. So what do we need? We need the code to, when we move left and right, we need the rotation to move left and right. So that's pretty easy. The rotation is going to go from 0, 0 to 1F. So all we need to do is we need to just add that value. So the value is already in X. So we're going to transfer the X value to the accumulator. We're going to add, clear the carry bit because we don't know if it's been set or not. In fact, I think it will be clear, but I'm gonna clear it anyway. It won't hurt. Yeah, I think 33 is fine as well. It looked like the needle had hit the end for quite a while actually. And the demo never even gets up to that, so we're going to take that, we're going to add it to the rotation, and now we should be able to store that back in the rotation. That's our rotation value adjusted. Oh, before we add it back, we just need to make sure that we wrap around. So if we go over 1F and we go to 2, 0, we need it to go back to 0, 0. So if we AND it with 1F, as I've said before when we do our game stream, if you imagine a binary number, 1F would be this. If we take that, sorry, it would be that. You know, that's the 1, that's the F. If you add 1 to that, you get 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. So if you AND it with 1F, which is that, you'll get 0, so it'll wrap around again. Likewise, if you're going backwards and you're at 0 and you take away 1, all these will become 1s, which then if you AND it with 1, 1, 1, 1, you'll get 1F. So by ANDing it with 1F, we just ensure that it wraps between these two values. So now we've got left and right set in the rotation. The Y joystick tells us whether we've added or removed from the speed. So we'll do the same again here. We'll just assume that if you're pushing up, it immediately adds to the speed. It might not be the case. We can see how that feels. So we'll do the same again. We'll clear the carry bit. We'll add our current speed. This time we don't want it to wrap around. What we want it to do is if it's less than 0, we want it to be 0. Here, sorry. If it's less than 0, we want it to be 0. Can you reverse in this game, Hayes? Is there a, if you go slow enough, does it reverse, or is it just stop? You just change direction, don't you? Which is weird anyway. I mean, you're turning, but if you want to do this, you can just flip the car around. A magic car that can just flip and change directions. So we'll just cap that. So the way first of all we'll check if the value is minus, and we'll jump to negative, and this is our positive. And if it's positive, we'll compare it to our top speed, which is 33. And if it's less than that, and we check this by using carry clear, means it's less, so we want to check if it's more. Carry set means if it's more, 33 or more, so we'll make that 34. If it's 34 or more, we'll call this top speed. And actually I'm going to change that to stopped. So stopped can be here. That needs to skip over that. Call that store speed. So that's stopped. This is top speed, and this is store speed. So store speed is just going to store that value back in speed. Stopped is going to make sure that value is 0, and top speed is going to make sure that value is 33. And we can't load 0 and then 33 and then do that, so we have to put a jump in here. So jump to store speed. Oops. Cool, so this is now setting our rotation and our speed, but we need to convert that into this basically. This is where it's going to get tricky now. So one way to do this is with tables. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to use tables. So if you follow my stream, you've probably seen my game making stream on Saturday. You've probably seen us use tables before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to store 32 values. Actually, is that going to be right? Let me think about this. How on earth is this going to work? This is crazy. Because I need to do a divide here. This is... So we need to construct east, west, south and north speed based on our rotation. Okay. And the problem is, so if you imagine if we're moving east, right? So this is our north, south, west. Let's actually fill it in. Thanks, Sublime. So if we're moving east, then our value is whatever speed is, right? So say we're moving at top speed, 33. We're moving east, so this is 33, everything else is 0. Same as if, we're moving north, our top speed is going to be 33 in that direction. However, if we're moving in this direction, northeast, God, stop doing that with tab. It's not really meant for doing this, but if we're moving northeast, then our value isn't actually that. It's actually the square root of what is it? The square root of, would it be square root of east? Or, well, it would be some value that's less than 33. You would say it's 33 in this direction, yes, but these values would not be 33. It's Pythagoras, isn't it? So it would be 33 equals square root of east times east plus west times west. And so if you refactor that, you can work out, north times north is. So that's not going to be quick to do. So ideally we want a lookup table for this. So I'm just trying to think how we can, because we don't want to create a lookup table for every speed in every direction. What we should probably just do is top speed in each of the 32 angles. What do these values have? And then work out some kind of fractional value of that, maybe. This is a puzzler. I'm starting to see why they did the things the way they did, but they should have made the controls a little bit better than they did. Yeah, math. I tell you what, it's a very, very, very good job. I'm not drinking tequila because I wouldn't have even been able to figure this out. Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? So it's almost like if I can work out a value for a particular speed, that's not a problem. And so if you've got 32 different directions, and you've got 4 different directions that you need to set values for, that's going to be 128 values for each speed, and then you'd have to times that by 33, which is not actually 33 because it's in hex. It's 51. That's a lot. You know, that's going to take a lot. So I'll tell you what. Let's start by just making our speed 4. Let's always pretend we're moving at speed 4 and working out how that affects a table. So the way we're going to do that is quite simple. So we'll make some tables here. We'll call them east, north, south, east, and west. Yeah. Oh, thank you for the host, Coconut. And welcome to the stream if you've just joined. I'm having a maths nightmare at the moment. And so, I think a simple way to do this is with a circle. We know the angle is the rotation. Speed will keep constant at 4 now. Actually, we'll do it. But let's do 4 because we can actually play at the speed of 4 on here. So, and so what we need to do is, if I remember rightly, I need the formula for a circle. I cannot remember. I think it's like sine x plus cos y or something. Formula for circle: sine x plus cos x. Sorry, circle x equals sine. Do you know what? Is there a way of doing graphs? X equals sine z, y equals cos z. Give me a circle formula for God's sake. There are only about 10 speeds you can be going. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is if we create a kind of rough value which tells you what fraction of the speed you should be going in any direction, we can then use that to kind of do a lookup table. So if we do a single table of 128 values and then use the values in there, so the values will range from 0 to 8, 0 to 7, and then we can look up in a table, if I'm at speed 0, then actually and my speed is this, then I should be at that speed. It should make it a bit simpler. It should reduce the number of bytes we need to do it. I'm just gonna, to be honest now, I'm just gonna guess this thing. I think, so north is going to be, see if it's less than 0. So I'm gonna say that this is cos rotation, and I'm gonna fill it with 32. So that would be I over 32, which gives me a value from 0 to 1, times pi times 2. Yes. And that needs to be going north. I'm gonna do that, and then I do the opposite down here. Yep, alright. And then we do the same with cosine on the other one, with the sine on this one. So this might be all over the show, but we can change these values. They change the min and max in a minute, but I'm pretty sure this is it. Yeah, I remember SOHCAHTOA, that's how I remember them as well. I'm just trying to remember when you do a circle. So when you used to draw circles in like BBC Basic and things like that, you did like cosines and sines. And then times that by, we'll do it by 8, I think, because that's a nice kind of round number as far as the computer is concerned anyway. Okay, so this now gives us values. So I'm just going to ignore the speed completely here, and instead what I'm going to do, I'm going to load x with our rotation value, and then I'm going to load in order. I'm going to do these values, so it's east, west, north and south. So I'm going to load east, my x, and I'm going to store that in what was it, 0350. So this will be a constant speed, but we should be able to test east, west, south, north. Test if this is actually working correctly. And then once we get the angles correct, and then return out of that. Okay. Do I actually have joystick turned on in here? I might not have joystick turned on. Joystick settings. Key set A. Configure key set A. Oh no, I do have it turned on. But I don't seem to be doing anything. Don't seem to be moving around. So let's just jump into our code in the debugger in here and just make sure it is actually running. Actually, we can put a breakpoint in. If I put a breakpoint in here, I'll at least be able to see if we're actually getting a rotational value or not. It's going to hit every time, isn't it? Damn it. Okay, that's no good. So let's have a look again what's calling this function. So we're jumping to here from 1198, which is this area here, branch if carry set. So we only go into it if, oh wait, yes, so actually we can branch if carry clear, so we can jump to that here. So this is only going to work now if we move the joystick, otherwise it's going to do nothing. It means we can get rid of that clear as well, don't need that. Oh, and put my brake in. So let's just put a brake in to make sure if we move the joystick, we should brake here. So I'm moving. It doesn't seem to actually be doing any of our new controls. So I'm moving the joystick, but nothing's happening. Actually, joystick, enable joy keys. Yep, I can see the joystick going on down there. This function is not being called. Carry is always clear at this point. Let's put a brake in here. Don't think you ever use sine and cosine. It's totally uncontrollable. Yeah. Yeah, so sine and cosine really useful for game programming. It crops up all the time. And this is something, this kind of slightly complex fill is something I'll go over in one of the game streams on Saturday. So we're getting into here. We're getting to here, but the carry is always clear at this point. I'm not sure why, because it should be set if only. Yeah, why is it clear at that point? That's weird. Let's check the code out again. So it's jumping to this location, F3, and then our code is sending it, which we intercepted here, is sending it to the new joystick code, which is here, which is immediately breaking, which is fine. That's what we want it to do. That proves that the code is running. Let's overrun it. Immediately breaks. That's fine. But the carry is always clear at this point, and I don't know why that is. It should not be clear, because we've got this routine here. If carry's not clear, sorry, if the carry is set, then go to here. If the carry's clear, let me check that routine again. I need to remind myself what the joystick routine does. So the joystick routine reads the contents of the joystick port, shifts one bit off. If the bit was set, that means nothing was happening. So it jumps to the next bit, and if that was set, then nothing was happening, and it comes all the way down, and it's only ever incrementing the X and Y and setting that carry bit, and then it's immediately coming back out, and then it goes back to our routine at 1198, which says if the carry is set, then jump to 11A4, which is here. 03A0. 03A0 was our weird little counter, I think, wasn't it? It was counting down as we was it not starting? As we were moving, so it seemed to only be doing something once every five frames. Actually, it's not even doing it there either. That's 382, which is this one. And that was our demo routine. So it's getting into here, but for some reason the carry is always clear. It's always set. It's not cleared. Let's try again. I feel like I'm doing something wrong here. Is that not loading? Okay. So just actually start the game. So my controls are working because I can start the game and I can get in. Oh, hang on. Now it has broke down here. Okay, it is working. So let's have a look. It says our rotation is 0. That's correct. Let's start again. And now it's accepted. Oh, right, there we go. Right, so if I pull left and right, it does nothing. If I push up and down, it does nothing. If I press fire, it does something. So that's not good. So this is only active if the fire button is pressed. What? Okay, let's do something different. Oh, hi Sean. Oh yeah, thank you. I did need the haircut. It was getting a bit wild. I was starting to look homeless. It was not fun. Compare X with 0. If it's not 0, then we're obviously doing something in the X direction, and we can jump to there. Compare Y with 0, and if that's not, then jump there. Otherwise, right. So now we're just checking both joystick directions. Let's try that again. Well, I had hair here, Hayes. Thanks for that. I know I've got none up here. Well, I've got kind of bits here. It was growing out here, but it wasn't growing. It's not grown here for a long time. Okay, now it's accepting my left and right movements. So X is now 2. Okay. Okay, I'm going to load this version now into our disassembler, into our thing. Hopefully it just works. Of course it doesn't just work. Alright, let's reset it. What? Oh, honestly, this debugger is... Right, I'm going to restart the debugger. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go have a quick break for 2 or 3 minutes. And then when we come back, we will... Thanks for the bits, Coconut. I'll use it for hair transplants. Why's that not running? Right, there we go. So this is our new version. I'm going to go for a cigarette in a minute, but I just want to see what's actually going on. So our values were here, weren't they? Yeah. So okay, it's not actually doing anything at all. Is it even getting into our routine? One bit equals 1 hair, so I get 50 hairs. They're definitely going down the middle, like just a streak down the middle, like a Mohican with just a single row of hairs. That's what I'd go for. I think I'd look really good with that. I certainly look better than no hair. Okay, so this is our routine. Actually, it doesn't seem like it's actually adding anything into these tables. 1, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, it's adding. Yeah, it's adding something. I think it's adding the wrong values though. Alright, I'm gonna go have a cigarette, and then when we come back, we'll play around with those tables and see what's going on. It looks like our routine is working. It's just not. These tables have got the wrong values in it. So we'll have a go at changing that. Alright, back in a minute, guys. Good night, Richmond, mate. It is quite late, but I'm determined to make this work. What I realised as well while I was away is carry bit clear if the fire button is pressed. So even when I take a break, I can't stop thinking about these things. There's a version on CFTV would fix flickery raster bit. Yeah, it always annoys me that when I see that in games. I always want to fix it. It looks like it could be fixable, but I'm not going to bother doing that. I may steal the code that's been in that version. If you can link to that version, maybe in the Dissect stream, the Dissect request in my Discord, I can have a look and find where that code is. For the 64, there are much more comments than real code. Yeah, unfortunately, when you work with assembly, you kind of have to comment everything, really. Especially when I'm doing something like this, where I don't actually know what's going on in the rest of the program. So, okay, let's. What I'm going to do, I'm going to ignore the rotation for now. Alternate control mode, really? Damn it, somebody's beat me to it. I think we need the 2 radians times 360 over 32. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm doing here. This is 2 radians as well. I guess I could use 2 radians instead of that. Let's just have it. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to see what happens if I put hard-coded values into here for now, just to see if I can force it to go in a particular direction. So as soon as I do anything moving left or right on the joystick, I want to see if I can make it go kind of down and down and east, so southeast, just to make sure that the actual the code will work if we get it right. So let's have a look. So I need to start the game first. If I do, it's not letting me do anything. I'm definitely pressing, but it's not doing anything. Okay, so let's load that version in into this. So reset. Even when you reset on this thing, it doesn't like resetting properly. It needs a hard reset. And let's turn the joystick on, start a game, and let's go and have a look at our code in here. So our code was 0820. We've got our tables here, and then our code was here. And oh, do you know what I'm doing wrong? Absolute rookie mistake. I've not put the correct things. So I could see straight away there when I looked that these values are not the values I'm supposed to be changing. So let's try again. Of course it's not good. If I'm not setting values in the right place, it's obviously not going to do the right thing. So let's have a look. Right, and if I yes, so I can control it like that. So I'm going to put the code back. That makes much more sense now. Now this is probably going to be all over the show because I'm pretty sure I've got these values up here slightly wrong, but I definitely had some control over it there. I'm going to change the speeds to 2 for now, so I'm not moving too quickly. And let's have a think about this. So I'm actually going to search for draw a circle in BBC Basic, because this is where I actually learned to do this, so this will really make a lot of sense to me. Draw a circle, not that one, so midpoint circle algorithm, there we go. No, I want to use sine and cosine though, so that's not right, it's not the midpoint circle algorithm. These are not the ones I remember. Ah, there we go. Thank you for the follow, Dark on Maze. Yeah, maybe I need alcohol. I mean, I'm just drinking Sprite Zero at the moment. Maybe that's the problem. I'm trying to find this. I'm pretty sure it's as simple as you take a radius, and then your x and y as you go through the degrees is just sine for x and cosine for y. There we go. So x is cosine and y is sine. Okay, so I actually had these the wrong way around. Okay, so change that to sine, and this is sine. And what I also need to do is negate a value as well. So if this is a negative value, which these ones will be, the ones with min will be, that should be cosine, sorry, then they need negating as well. So I'm going to times it by -2, like so. And in fact, I'm going to set that to constant speed, like that, and then I can change that value easily without having to. And we'll create a label here. Create that too. Right. Feeling like we're getting somewhere. Yeah, actually, to be fair, Akmafin, the tequila really did push me right to the limit. I barely remember the last 30 minutes. You should still get a circle if you're sine and cosine. Yeah, you should, shouldn't you, actually? But I'm pulling left now, and I'm turning right, so all I need to do, and pulling the other way does nothing. Add rotation, yes, and yes. I'm going to clear the carry bit again here, just in case, because the carry bit is not going to be set if we're. Is that right? Yeah. Alright, let's see what happens this time. So it looks like we've got it working in one direction. The game is so slow, I wish I could take that sample out. It doesn't seem to be doing kind of 32 angles though. It only seems to, oh, there we go, it's working in both directions now. It doesn't seem to be doing I wonder if I change the speed up, do I get more kind of more values in the middle, or is it just because I'm moving that slow? Oh, so slow, this game. Ah, there we go. Right, so we're getting somewhere now. I am going to change these values around, so I'm going to switch. I'm just going to switch north and south for now. It could be enough. There we go. I'd be interested to know what happens at speed 1. I'm guessing we turn incredibly quickly in one direction, so it's kind of the opposite of what you'd expect with turning circles in these games. But with a bit more time, you could kind of make the speed at which you turn. Hey, look at that. So at a speed of 1, you turn in 90-degree increments. So as your speed goes up, So speed 2 will be 45 degrees. That's kind of funny. But that's just because of the accuracy of these. So even though the value here may be something like, you know, 0.23 or something, it's just going to be 0. So if our max speed is 1, then this is only ever going to be 0 or 1, and it's only ever going to be 1 if we're facing directly in that direction. Okay, so let's put it on speed 8 and let's see now. I think we're getting somewhere now. So all we need to do now is convert that speed, our current speed, into something that multiplies this value, or actually divides this value. But we'll look at that in a second. Wow, I'm actually controlling the car. Oh wow, I can actually play this game. I've never been down here before. Yeah, I mean the speed, you know, top speed isn't working, but we're getting somewhere. Now, because we know that the fire button is being pressed or not, I think what we'll do here is I'm going to, if the carry is clear, then the fire button is being pressed. So if the carry is clear, I'm going to jump to accelerate. Otherwise, if the carry is set, we're slowing down. So do you think if you let go it should be braking? We could make that the equivalent of pulling backwards, I guess. So let's make this decelerate. And we'll set the Y value here for that. So we'll just set the Y to FF. And we'll jump to this bit, which is here. Whoops. And then accelerate. We'll load the Y with 01. So now we're ignoring this now. We've negated this by using the fire button instead. Goodbye, Dark Maze. Thanks for joining the stream. Okay, so we now need to work out how to convert this value that we're going to grab here into a factor of speed and the value in here. So we could multiply the two together, which would be one way of doing it, I guess. Actually, that's not a bad idea. This might work. So we had, let's think about this. We had 90-degree turns if our speed was 1. So we'd have 4 different directions. So that would be 8. That would be 16. That would be 32. Okay, so if we make the top speed 4 in any of these directions, this is really simple now. And we do multiply by speed, and then we create a function here called multiply by speed, and we're using X here. I don't know why I've done capital X there, that's annoying me. So we'll transfer this value that we grabbed from here to Y. Then we'll load the accumulator with 0, and then we'll compare Y to 0. If it's equal to 0, we'll jump to the end, which is here. Otherwise, we're going to add, and we'll use clear carry bit because I'm pretty sure we've got plenty of cycles. I mean, it's only using 8 lines. We're going to add our speed, which is just called speed, Then we're going to decrease the y, and then we're going to jump to this point here. And now our accumulator contains that value. So if I just put that in here, in here, in here, and here, fingers crossed, we should now have a game that works with fire button for accelerate, let go for brake. So let's try that. So am I moving? No. Oh, will you look at that? Oh shit, okay. It's accelerating really fast. So what we can do here, we had this other value. There was a value that was counting up somewhere. Where was it? In fact, let's forget that. Let's make our own. So let's do accelerate timer and put a byte in there. If you saw my game stream again, you'll know this function that this thing I'm going to do now. I'm going to increment that timer. So every time we do anything with the keys, actually it doesn't matter. This is always going to get called now because this is almost irrelevant now. This block of code, we don't need that because we're always going to either be accelerating or decelerating, even if we're already at top speed. So as long as we're in this function, we'll increase the accelerate timer. And then with the speed stuff here, add speed. So we'll put no speed this time, and then here we'll call this do speed, so we know what it is, and then we'll just load the contents of accelerate timer. We'll do it once every 4 frames, so we end it with 3, and then if it's not equal to 0, we'll jump to no speed. I don't know who that was. Who was that? It was Nithron. Thank you for the follow, Nithron. Welcome to the stream. You're about to witness us actually fix the last V8, which I'm absolutely amazed at. I didn't think I'd managed to do this in this time when I first looked at the code. So now we're only gonna apply an acceleration value every 4 frames instead of every frame. So we'll accelerate a bit slower, but it should be a bit more controllable. We may have to do the same with the turning as well. Let's do it with the turning. But what we can do, if we do this here, so no. Turn this time, put that in here, call this do turn, and we'll make the turn a bit quicker than the accelerate. We could even change the deceleration as well. So in this area here, where is it, the yeah, here we could do a check to see if y is positive or negative. If it was negative, we could actually change this value here. May do that in a minute, depending on how it goes. Thank you for the follow, LM Orchin. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's 3 sprites on top of each other, so you can do anything. If you just remove the top sprite and make it white, really, which the see, I'm remembering the shortcut. So this blue bit here, I'll do that in a minute, why not? Let's make it white. Let's try out this now. Okay. Problem is I'm turning when I shouldn't be turning, so I'm just trying to test the turn. So let's do it when yeah, it appears so, although I seem to be stuck here. Because what I need to do now is reset these values up here. So these values here that we've got, they need to be reset. So we had a reset function. Got to remember where the hell that was though now. Okay, let's have a search for FF for 5003. Ah, that was like OD90. So yeah, so we had this section here which was resetting a load of values. So we're gonna just peg some on the end of here somewhere. In fact, we can do it right at the beginning. Here's fine. So OD5D. So if I do another block of code, OD5D, and just jump to reset values, and we'll just peg that on the end of our code up here. We need to do the original code, which was store accumulator in 039B, and then we can reset our values up here. So we need to store the accumulator in rotation. We may as well store it in rotation and speed. It's fine if we start with no speed. And just to make sure, we should also store it in these values as well. I think it already does this, but I'm going to do it again anyway, just to make sure, because I want to be sure that the code that we've written isn't going to break anything. That's yes, right, okay. Oh, is that not working? Reset values, because that shouldn't be that. Okay, I'm not sure why it's... because it needs to force it to move, to look like it's moving east. So I'm going to make sure we return with accumulated set to 0, because that's what it's expecting over here. Everything else is going to be set to 0, but we are going to set our speed and our east direction to 2. This is why they were setting it to 2. So this is why when you start this game you start moving, because without it you'd be pointing north. There we go. Now the thing is, I think the demo will really struggle now, because the demo won't know how to play this. Too fast. Okay. So I just need to learn to slow down a bit, so let's try that. Let's restart in the right place. Thing is, I'm not the best game player, so this is probably one to pass on to somebody like Hayes to play, to be honest. I think the controls shouldn't be timed. I think it's fine without this, so let's remove that. I can actually delete that. I'm going to leave that bit in here. Should you brake or accelerate quicker? Braking is quicker than accelerating, isn't it? So when I let go, I should slow down very quickly. So what I'm going to do here is compare y to 0. If it's minus, then I'm going to call that do brake. Otherwise it's going to do accelerate, and I'm going to just modify this value here. So this is do speed. In fact, I'm just going to put it in here. I'm just going to call it interval. Should be fine. So if we're accelerating, then this is fine, I think. So we'll store 3 and we'll store it at interval +1, which is this location here, and we jump to do speed because we don't want to do the next bit, which is the do brake, which is where we're going to take this and we're going to change that to 1. So now we should brake a bit quicker than we accelerate. is that failing? That is failing because do break is there. That's correct. Oh, because that should be a plus. Do you know what? I've got used to using these multi-labels, and I'm kind of wondering whether I should use them quite as much as I do. But they have saved me headaches, so I just want to see if this actually moves. This is the demo, so oh no, it's not the demo now, but it'd be interesting to see if the demo moves. Oh, I'm quite pleased with that. I feel like I've made progress there. Oh, that was damn. Okay, we've got a little bit of time left, so any requests that you want to put in, I'll put that in now before I share this version. When I'm finished with this, I will pack it up with Xamizer, and I will share it all, the entire folder basically, with all the code. If you go in the bin folder, you'll see the cracked PRG, but I'll put a packed version in here, so we can do. Yeah, you can load it in probably, because at the moment I'm loading into Vice, and actually it probably would still work on a proper machine, but I'll pack it anyway. So the home page is quite empty, really. There's not an awful lot in it. I mean, you can see there's a little bit of activity in there. I'm surprised they didn't move things like speed and stuff into there, because they're the sort of things that are being used. I'm going to change that colour on there to, who said white? Somebody said it's turning too sharply when you're slow. Alright, let's see if we can fix that. So if I'm stopped, I shouldn't really be able to turn, should I? So we can do the same thing here. So what we can do is a rotation. So that's a function for multiplying by speed. Rotation. Alright, rotation. We can do this based on this timer. So this value here can be based on our speed. So if we load our speed, so we want, the faster you're going, the lower that value is. So let's think about this. If you take the value of our speed, which can go up to, what was it, 33. Let's reduce that down to values between 0 and 8, maybe 0 and 4. Okay, so let's reduce that. So if we half it, that becomes 25-ish, 12-ish, 6-ish. Let's reduce it like that. Then we'll store it in a temp area. I think FF was a temp area, wasn't it? So store it in there. Then we'll load 0, 4. So we divide it by 16. We're going to take the number 4, and then we're going to subtract FF from it, and then we're going to store that at turn interval +1. So that can go there like that. Now hopefully that should slow us down when we're turning, when we're slow. So hi B West. This is, we've taken one of the PRGs on CSDB, stripped all the trainers out of it. I will include it in the zip file afterwards. If you want to, anybody wants to get this code, I will drop it into stream details or Dissect, probably in stream details actually at the end. in my Discord channel, which is there. And this file here, you probably can't see it very well actually. This last V8 PRG is the original PRG, the clean version of the PRG that I stripped out and used. And this is the kick assembler file that's patching it. I'll put a packed version of the game in here as well, so you can see it patched, packed and ready to go. Okay, so let's see. I think it's making me go down. That's weird. It's like if I've got no speed, then it assumes I'm pointing downwards, which is a bit worrying. So there are a few little bugs, I think, but I need to verify that this fixes that I've just put in is working. Oh man, it feels like it's turning too quickly though still. Subtracting the value in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit to it as well. I need to clear just to see if that changes it. This is the problem with doing these kind of weird math routines. You tend to do some kind of guesswork sometimes. Thank you for the sub, LM Orchard. It's very much appreciated. It's going to go towards tequila probably, so know what I'm like. No, it's not going to go towards tequila. The last stream was an absolute nightmare. I don't remember the last half hour, so that's not a good situation to be in. But it will go towards you know, things like streaming costs, and I do drink wine on stream on Saturday. So if you want to watch me drink wine while I attempt to do maths, you can come and join that in. Yeah, it does. At the moment, the cost is going towards flu bits as well. So I'm paying for flu bits so that people can join in the coding on Saturdays. I'm not entirely sure about this block of code. I'm not sure what's going on. So my speed can be, so this can be 0 to 51. This is dividing it by 16, so it now becomes, at this point it's 0 to 3 because it's going to round down. Then we're subtracting it from 4, so it now becomes was it 4 to 1 at this point, and then we're adding 2 to it, so it becomes 6 to 3, and that's the value that goes in here. 6 when we're really slow, so we turn slower. 3 when we're, yeah, so we shouldn't probably be adding that on actually. And I think if I remove that and change that to 8, that might help. This has been quite fun. I was quite worried about this one before the stream started. I honestly thought I was just going to spend all my time crashing into things and getting nowhere. I need to actually play it properly, don't I? That's what I need to do. It doesn't feel right still. There's also a bit of a glitch with the sprite, I notice. I don't know if that's something I've introduced. Shouldn't be, because I'm not in that area, unless some of this was sprite data, but it only seems to be the explosions. That's not too much of a problem. Oh yeah, if you're a sub, you do get access to my little shall-on emote as well. I'm quite proud of. Again, anybody who wasn't here at the beginning of the stream, there is a great magazine you guys should subscribe to called 364, which I'm on the front cover of this month with .cosmos. But it's a really good accompaniment to this stream as well, not just because I'm on the front cover, but every one of these magazines is about kind of hacking games and finding pokes and cheats. So it's kind of very suited to what we're doing here. Please accelerate. I'm not entirely sure this is working. I'm going to disable this for now. We can look at that later. I think it's definitely no, but what I have got in this magazine, Acmefin, and I'm not entirely impressed with my mugshot, but it's I don't know if you can see that, a little mugshot of me. I'm the only person in the entire magazine who isn't smiling. I've just got this kind of smug smirk on my face. Everyone else seems to be smiling, so yeah. No, not centerfold, although I do take up quite a lot of the magazine actually. There must be like 8 or 9 pages, so it looks the same to me. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have one more go at trying to drive around here. It seems quite slow to react to turning. That's the frustrating thing. I think it's improved, but I think it's still got some issues. It's still got a few bugs in it. I think when you're not moving, it thinks you're going south. It thinks your direction is south. I am not doing a photo of myself. No, no way. I realised as well the other day, my little shell animo, it's really suited to .cosmos 2, because in .cosmos 2 you can shoot bullets, and he looks a bit like that. You can actually make him shoot bullets, which I kind of like. When you start turning, it should react right away and then start the timer. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. See, this is maybe where kind of another value here would have been better. In fact, let's do that. So if no, it's not going to be that simple, is it? It's not going to be that simple because I've simplified the way the rotation works. So let me think about this. Do you know what? I know I tend to have my I like that, that's good. I tend to have my cigarette breaks on the half hour, but I need to have a quick think about this. So I'm going to go and have a quick cigarette break now. I'm going to come back, I'm going to do about another 15-20 minutes or so, and then whatever I've got, I will pack it up, I will get it on the Discord, and you guys can have a play around with it. There should be enough here now that you can kind of run with it and kind of do your own stuff if you want to. Yeah, so I'll be back in a minute, guys. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, I was just thinking, I think it's probably better to turn off the timer for the rotation, and just deal with sensitive steering, at least for this iteration of it anyway, because otherwise you are going to have trouble turning quickly in places. I think it's better to have the kind of full speed rotation than it is to kind of, you just have to get used to kind of just tapping left and right. I'm making it look more difficult than it really is because I'm quite terrible at games in general, unfortunately, and I'm playing on keyboard as well, which isn't. Oh, what that was. Oh, it's my time running out. Okay. I've definitely done something with this explosion, I think. So there's a bit of a bug there. We could probably relocate this code to somewhere that isn't affecting the explosion. So I'm gonna turn that off. I'm actually gonna have a look now to see if I can find somewhere else to relocate this code. So let's have a look where we're putting it. So we're putting it What's that one? OD5D. Oh, that's the reset. Okay. Reset values. Yes. Okay. So we need to relocate about 1/8 pages, so about 300 bytes or so. So let's see if we can find somewhere that's a bit more suitable for it. There's a lot of blank here, but I think this is probably actually this is not being used, I don't think, because if we look at the VIC register here, our screen is at 0400, but in bitmap mode it's in a completely different place. So in bitmap mode it's in a different area of memory, so it's never being written to down here, the screen, so which is why we're seeing that blank area here. But I'm going to try relocating it to 0600 and see if that makes any difference to the explosion sprite. I want to fix that rather than turning at the moment. I think we've made quite an improvement on the controls. I'm pretty sure somebody just couldn't deal with the controls. Well, it sounds like Hayes was getting on quite well with the controls in the end, but somebody who can't deal with the controls would probably find this version a little bit better. So let's do a crash. Yeah, there we go. So the explosion is looking correct now. Hopefully that doesn't get overwritten with anything. It doesn't. Okay, cool. I would be interested to see somebody playing this actually, who isn't me, who can control this thing. It's not too bad actually. It's just a shame I suck. That's the problem. I hope. Let's ship it. Yeah. I think turning that kind of this stuff off has kind of fixed it. So I'm going to remove that code completely. I'm going to leave this in here so you can see what's going on. And I think that's pretty much it. So I'm going to change the color of this sprite because I just want to do that. So let's have a look in here where it was. So it's this bit here, this blue top, and that is color D027, D028. So let's have a look for D028. And we should see that being set to 14 or 0E at some point. Yeah, and maybe thing is the graphics are quite nice. So like in Airwolf we changed the whole background to red because the cyan just looked horrible. But in this it kind of looks nice. There's not really much more we can do to the graphics to make it stand out. We could maybe put a little something down here in the bitmap, because this will be loaded in memory somewhere. We can extract that out and change that, I guess. We could even put our initials somewhere in one of the tiles. I guess I might do that actually. I might try and change one of the tiles to put our initials in. Yeah, I think it does need a little bit more work, I think, but it's not bad. I think it is an improvement, and considering we've only had that's not it. Considering we've only had 3 hours to do this, we do all right. These streams are I'm trying to do just one game per stream. I'm trying not to split them over multiple streams, but if we need to, sometime we can do that. So 036A, that looks like, conveniently they've left the sprite colors in their own registers, but that doesn't look like it actually. That looks like it's white. That's not the right one. That's definitely not white, so I don't think it's that. Let's check this other one. 1626. So 0377. This one is that one there. Okay, so I'm going to change that in here. 0377. I'm going to change that to let's do it in white. See, the proper way to do this is not to change any colors to fix it. speed run it in a ridiculous time, and then see if anybody can beat that with the original controls. That's kind of a little bit sneaky and cheaty, so probably not the best thing to do. Yeah, let's have a look at that. We should now have a white roof on the car. Whoa, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Oh, that's because now we're putting that there. Okay, that's fine. What I'll do is it's because this area here is used for kind of kernel vectors and stuff and resets, so changing values in that area when you load the computer up is going to do some weird stuff. So still not white though there. Okay. What we can do is just store it directly there. Why not? So now when it resets, it will automatically reset the color of that sprite as well. And it's not done it. Okay. 0377. 0377. What happens if I change it there? Ah, interesting. Okay, fine. We'll just go a really hacky way about this, and just whenever we do anything, we'll just, so this is a kind of always runs. I mean, this is quite messy code as well. I mean, I would do this in a much neater way if I had more time, but this will do. There we go. What did you want me to change? Which color did you want me to change? Am I doing the wrong one? Tell me which colors you want me to change, and we can change them in here really easily. So it looks like the bumper is 7.6, the roof is 7.7, and 7.8 is the car as well. Make the car black so it looks like a Lambo. I do want to change. Yeah, I wonder what would happen if I change. I want to. Yeah. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. So if I did that, I should actually get, yeah, a black car. That it definitely looks different. There's no denying it's a different game. Oh, that didn't work, did it? What did that do? That changed. What did that change? That changed the bumper colour, didn't it? So it wasn't that one. 3.7. Oh, 3.7.8. It should have been. That's fine. I'm not so sure now. I'm gonna try that with like a greyish colour. I think the mark of we've messed with this game is that we changed the colours of something in the game, so it's obvious we've done something. It looks too much like the road now. Oh, it's really sensitive. This would be a lot easier on a joystick, I think. But it's getting there. I mean, if we were to make changes, I would say it would probably be, yeah, the turning circle would probably need changing. I think that would be the main thing. Okay, what I'm going to very quickly do is I'm going to save a snapshot to my desktop. Just going to call it 1. Okay. Apparently that crashed. I'm going to try opening an open charpad anyway. Emulate snapshot, import vice snapshot. Yep. just need to keep an eye out for anything that looks like a proper character set. That kind of looks character set-y. That looks like roads and bushes and stuff. Let's change some values. Well, 383, yeah, that is as well. Oh, there we go. There's ooh, okay. Let's stick some initials in somewhere. So we've got this character set here. I think this relates to the bitmap at the bottom. Let's see if we can see anything where we can just shove some initials in. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on there, so let's load the game up. Let's match some colours up. So that's this area down here. Some kind of curve here with a... That's this, I think. No, it's not. What would that be? I'm not seeing that anywhere. Well, I mean, we could get rid of the created. I'm gonna put Shallan in here. Why not? Why not? And that's easy enough to do, just like this. It's gonna say Shallan by by David Darling, but whatever. Probably put the shadows back in as well. So shadow, 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 all down there. Pretty sure this isn't correct, but. And then I'm going to get rid of the by, so it doesn't just say Shallan by David Darling, it just says Shallan David Darling. I don't want to remove his name. It's his game. He should have his name in it. And then I'm going to export that. Just the character set. I'm going to save that into, let's dissect a game, call that signing, I guess, doesn't really matter. I can't remember what location it was in, so I'm going to load it in again. Snapshot, where's snapshot? Yep, file, open my snapshot, one, I think it was 5800. Yeah, 5800. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good point actually. Okay, let's import character set, and I just put that in here. And let's just make that bigger so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Okay, so this colour. Oops. It's gonna encroach a little bit on. What's the 50k? I was picking an email and Shallan had already been taken a long time ago. and so I ended up with 50,000 on the end of my name, and that shortened that to 50k when I was making accounts in various places. And then I realized when I got into the Commodore scene, wouldn't it have been a great idea if I'd have thought to actually do 64k? But you know, I wasn't thinking about Commodore back then, so it's fine. So it's allowed. So yeah, it's nothing fancy. Just oh, it's annoying that it kind of encroaches a little bit on this. So actually, I'm gonna it goes right over to the edge, and I think that in the next section, David. I'm gonna David. I'm gonna shift all this over a little bit. Or do you know what? I'm going to be cheeky. I'm going to change his name to Dave Darling. Just because it makes it a bit easier. I'm sure this is going to look absolutely awful because I have no idea what these colours are actually doing. So you know, I'm taking a guess as to what these colours should look like. I'm guessing it's going to look a bit weird when I put it in the game, but at least you should just be able to make out my name. So okay, let's export that character set. What time are we on? Yeah, I'm gonna have to finish this soon, so let's export that, quickly import it into the game. She's at 5800, then import binary signing bin. Yeah, I mean, I can see actually how the shadows work. I think I've made a bit of a pig's ear of that, so if this looks rubbish, I'm just going to get rid of it. Okay, so that black there should be... Let me just look at that again. So it's creating a black line where there's brown, and it's creating blue. Okay, so that needs to be black. This one. So, and these L's need to be filled in here like that. I'm not going to do too much, I mean, just as long as it looks fairly decent. Yeah, that'll do, I think. So let's export that. And then give that a quick test. Yeah, that looks a bit better. It just gets rid of those stupid black lines on there. I mean, with a bit more time you could design that properly, but that'll do. I'm not convinced about the black on the car. I'm going to change it back to red, but I'm going to keep the yellow bumper and the grey thing on the end, and then that's it, I think. Otherwise I'm never going to get up in the morning. Cool. So there we go. So actually quite a successful stream, considering we've managed to understand the code a little bit. It wasn't the easiest code to understand, and they've definitely gone a weird way about it. As you can see, at first it seemed like a complicated problem, but when you think about it, it was actually quite simple. So you have kind of a minimum speed that even when you're going at 1, you're going at this speed. And yeah, just a bit of thought and some nice kind of nice modern IDE kind of shortcuts. I mean, you could work this out by hand as well, but obviously having the shortcut like this makes it quite quick, and we've managed to do that in 3¼ hours, so pretty good. Cool. So I'm gonna raid someone now and end the stream, and then as soon as the stream is done, I will pack all this up, zip it up, and stick it on the on my Discord channel. I'll drop the Discord link in here again. If you go into the stream details channel, I'll drop it in there. Let me just check actually, is that where I put the last one? It makes sense to me to put them in the same place. I did, yes. So the stream details is where you can find Sharewolf. I'm going to put that in there as well. I believe Zork is streaming, so I think we should probably go and raid Zork. It's a code stream after all, so yeah, let's go and raid Zork. So let's see if I can get the name right this time. Last time when I was really drunk at the weekend, I tried to go to Epic Neon Ninja Monkey, and I just typed in Epic Ninja Monkey, and of course no one was there, so most of the stream left, and by the time I realized it was too late, and there was only like 4 people left. But yeah, let's go and raid Spock now. Yeah, actually it's a good point. Epic Ninja Neon Monkey is on. However, this is a coding stream, I am going to drop in on Zork again. He returns the favour. So anyway, cheers guys. It's been a good stream. I'll drop this all on my Discord as soon as we're finished, and I will see you all next time, guys. Thanks a lot.